sold out, you're wicked, man. The Lord gonna deal with you, man.
That's the worst kind of brother.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's best that you didn't even come into truth for you to be doing that. Because you're working for them. Just like they brought out the movie Black Messiah. What's this guy named William O'Neill, a sellout nigga who killed what's his Jake name, man? Fred Hampton.
Oh yeah.
Right? This nigga was running back to the FBI, giving them info. This Bishop Law wasn't with the Panther thing, but he was wicked, man. What happened after they showed that documentary back in the 80s when he was talking about what he did, and what happened after it aired? The next day he committed suicide. Yeah, he was disgusted, man. That was evil what you did, man. What type of legacy? And you think the enemy respects you? They don't respect you at all, man. Yeah. You selling out your people for this amount of money? This nigga's stupid as shit. Yeah.
The white man's face on it, that's not even about to be worth it. That's just retarded.
Yeah.
See, the devil, he'll marvel at a brother that stands firm. Yo, listen, I'll pay $1 million.
Just like the seven brethren.
Yup.
He went out his way to get him to sell out. You know what I mean? And they said nah.
I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor unto the Most High. Shout out to those brothers, in that first clip. And certain things that they said that stood out to me, man. They was talking about how, they first of all they mentioned the seven brethren, which is in the book of the Maccabees about, those seven brethren that lost their lives, instead of selling out, and their mother lost their lives too. And I talked about that, in my previous videos, and he told, and he said, the enemy, they marvel, man. Even though, they hate you, they marvel at, at somebody that they can't corrupt, they can't, that don't sell out, man. And they don't respect the guys that sold out, man. They don't. They use them just like they use this brother William O'Neill, for the time being, and you see what happened, man. And that's the worst, man, that he couldn't even live with himself after he did what he did, after he sold out. That's the worst, man. And it took some time, man. But the Most High plagued them, with those spirits, man. And back to that video that I did where it talked about how these are spirits that plague them after they do these wicked acts. You know what I mean? It plagues them for years, man. That's these wicked things that they did is constantly in the back of their head, man. Because they sold out. And that's what they want. And they don't respect you guys that sell out, man. And what happened to Judas when he sold out, man? He was plagued with spirits. He had to go commit suicide. He couldn't live with himself, man. So, man. It's only those that are, it's only those that stood strong, is written down, man. The accounts are written down, their acts are written down. They have a good report, not the sellouts, man. And the Most High got to prepare, you got to prepare your spirit to stand strong, man. We're not out here standing strong on our own. It's the Most High that's guiding us, man. It's the Most High, man, that's keeping us afloat, man, because we put our trust in the Most High and not man. And not everybody's gonna bow down to this beast system. And the Most High showed you an example of that. When you remember when Elijah went to him and started complaining. He like look, everybody's turned over. And the Most High told him, nah, we still got 7,000 that didn't bow down to Baal, man. Those are the ones that have their stories written, man. Their accounts is written. Look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man. They were the only ones that stood up when everybody else bowed down and followed the and followed that course, man. They bowed down to the music. The accounts are written, man. Only those that stand boldly is going to have their accounts written, man. You know? Oh, man. That's it. Only those that stand strong. Those are the ones that's going to be written about, talked about. You know, and others are too, because like he has, you know what I mean? Others get their stories told too, like him, like this William O'Neill guy. You know? But shame covered it, man. Shame shall be the promotion of fools. You know, that's his story right now, man. You know, the money wasn't worth it, man. You know. Oh man. You know, and that's what Satan tried to do with the Mashiach. He tried to give him, you know, vain rewards, man. You know, in exchange for what? You know, for him to bow down and worship him. You know. But the Mashiach knew what the future plan was. I want to bow down and worship you, man. You know, I'm gonna be reigning supreme. I'm gonna endure this little chastisement, man. I'm gonna endure hard just like a good soldier, man. That's what it's about. You know. You know, and a lot of these men were innocent. You know, these were innocent men. You know what I mean? They chose Barabbas over the Messiah. You know, these disciples, these, you know, all, you know, these apostles, they all were innocent men. I mean, they, you know, a lot of them, you know, they went through a great ordeal, man. You know, they stood strong. Joseph, when he got locked up, you know, all these guys were innocent, man. You know, it wasn't the wicked that was suffering, man. It was the innocent. You know, but they stood strong, man. And they showed, you know, true valor. You know, they got their story told, man. They got a good report. And now we're gonna get into, you know, Eleazar in the book of the Maccabees. We're gonna get into his story. We're gonna read that right now. You know, it's another example. You know, something similar to the story of the 7 brethren. You know. Oh man, let's get into it, man. So we're gonna start 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 18 through 31. The martyrdom of Eleazar, man. You know what I mean? Eleazar, one of the scribes in high position, a man now advanced in age of noble presence, was being forced to open his mouth to eat swine's flesh, man. You see that? They wanted him to eat swine's flesh. This is Antiochus Epiphanes, you know? You know? And he, you know, well, as we all know, Eleazar was a, you know, he was a Jew. He was a Hebrew. They're not supposed to be eating no pig. But, you know, that these are the wicked things that they were doing to them, you know? You know, these Romans, these Greeks, that was you know, on the scene at the time, that was taking over. You know, let's keep going. Verse 19. But he welcomed him death with honor rather than life with pollution. Went up to the rack of his own accord, spitting out the flesh, as men ought to go who have the courage to refuse things that is not right to taste, even for the natural love of life, man. I mean, he spit it out, man. He spit out that flesh. Like, look, get this crap out my mouth. Let's keep going. Those who were in charge of that unlawful sacrifice took the man aside because of their long acquaintance with him and privately urged him to bring meat of his own providing, proper for him to use, and pretend that he was eating the flesh of the sacrificial meal which had been commanded by the king, so that by this he might be saved from death and be treated kindly on account of his old friendship with them. So you see, they was trying to bribe him so that, you know, he wasn't eating that swine's flesh. So what they do is, like, they, you know, they call him to the side, you know, and they would tell him, look, pretty much, you don't got to eat this swine's flesh, man. I mean, we know you a Hebrew, but look, we're going to give you a piece of meat, you know, that's proper for you, you know. Choose a piece of meat that's proper for you, and you're going to pretend like it's swine's flesh. I mean, and you're going to eat it in front of people. This is what they're trying to get him to do. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. But making a high resolve worthy of his years and the dignity of his old age and the gray hairs which he had reached, with distinction and excellent life even from childhood, and moreover according to the holy God-given law, he declared himself quickly, telling them, send him to Hades. Oh man, Sheol. Such pretense is not worthy of our time, he said. Lest many of the young should suppose that Eleazar in his 90th year has gone over to an alien religion. And through my pretense for the sake of living a brief moment longer, they should be led astray because of me while I defile and disgrace my old age, man. For even if for the present I should avoid the punishment of men, yet whether I live or die, I shall not escape the hands of the Almighty. Therefore, by manfully giving up my life now, I will show myself worthy of my old age and leave to the young a noble example of how to die a good death, willingly and nobly for the reverend and holy laws. Oh man, all praises to the Most High for that. So you see that right there, man? He was in his 90th year, and all he had to do was eat a piece of that swine's flesh, or pretend to eat it in front of the the congregation. And he said, nah, y'all could kill me, man. He's choosing death. He said, all right. He said, instead of doing that, and live for a brief moment longer. Look, he said he's 90 years old. He said, look, man, and he lived. The report of his life is like, look, he had an excellent childhood. Meaning like, look, this guy was the guy, that did the right thing. He said, and he's 90 right now. He said, instead of I defile myself and disgrace myself in this old age, just to avoid punishment from men, and lead the youth astray, I'm gonna die, man. And look at verse 28. I'm gonna read that again. It said, and leave to the young a noble example of how to die a good death and willingly noble for the reverend laws. You gotta be strong to go through this kind of stuff, man. You know what I mean? He didn't want them to think that he went to an alien religion. You know what I mean? Oh man. When he had said this, he went at once to the rack. You know what I mean? He went at once to the rack. You know what I mean? To where it was going to put him to death. And those who a little before had acted towards him with goodwill, man, now changed to ill will because of the words he uttered were, in their opinion, sheer madness. When he was about to die under the blows, he groaned aloud and said, it is clear to the Lord in his holy knowledge that though I might be saved from death, I am enduring terrible sufferings in my body under this beating, but in my soul I am glad to suffer these things because I fear him. So in this way he died, leaving in his death an example of nobility and a memorial of courage, not only to the young but to the great body of his nation, man. You see that? Oh man, you see that? So he died, man. And like you see, the people that was all buddy with him, that was all friendly with him first, when he said, no, I'm gonna stand for this, hey, they flipped on him. They wasn't really his friends, you know what I mean? When he said, no, I'm not eating this swine's flesh. They was all being his friends at first, trying to coach him, be nice to him, trying to bring him into the fold. Why? Because they wanted him to sell out, But as soon as he said he ain't selling out, you see that they wasn't his friend, and they beat him to death. He said, I'm glad to suffer, man. That's what, what I mean? It's a perfect example right here. We're supposed to be, rejoice during our tribulation, man. Even though he was, going through a bitter torments, gruesome torments, man. He left a good report for his nation, man. These are his acts are recorded, man. The acts are recorded. Those that stood bold, man. Not the sellouts, man. Not the ones that went with the majority, that wanted to just fit in. They didn't want to face that persecution, and that's because the Most High, the Most High wasn't dealing with a lot of people, man. The Most High, he prepared certain men's spirits for that, Oh man, he said, "I'm glad to suffer, man." That's what the scripture says, man. He said they're going, you know, they go, if they did it to me, they're gonna do it to you. You know. So fear not what they could do to the body, man. You know, but you gotta fear that man who could cast your body and soul, who could destroy body and soul, man. This is a perfect example, man. Oh man, you know. So he has a good report for what he did, man. He didn't sell out. He didn't sell his nation of people out. Why? Because the people that was all buddy with him, they wasn't really his friend. They just wanted you to sell out. They wanted you to sell your people out, man. That's what they wanted. And they beat him to death, man. Because he didn't want to do it. Let's keep going. You know, I love my Hebrews 11, man. You know, this is Hebrews 11 verse 35 through I'm gonna go 35 through 39. You know, and this is basically once again showing you in the book of Hebrews 11. I'm connected with these chapters I just read in the Maccabees about Eleazar. You know, they didn't want to eat the flesh. They talked about these things. You know what I mean? You know, they're not telling you this in the church. They, you know what I mean? They preaching prosperity. Let's keep going. Hebrews 11:35. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, man. Tortured. Not accepting deliverance that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, bonds of imprisonment. They were stoned. They were sawn asunder. They were tempted. They were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskin, being destitute, afflicted, and tormented, whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and in caves of the earth. These all having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise, man. Oh, man. Trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, man. You know? This is what his people went through, the noble ones. You know? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. You mean? And we're gonna finish on that. You mean? Showing you once again, you know, this is what's gonna happen to his saints, man. You know? But the people that was afflicting them, they were unwise. You know? Their names is not gonna be recorded. They don't have a good report, man. So Wisdom of Solomon chapter, I believe it's Solomon chapter 3. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them, man. This is when they die, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? No torment is going to touch them after they die, right? While they're going through on this earth, they're going through bitter and gruesome torments, you know what I mean? In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, man. You know what I mean? They beat them to death, man. You know? They did a horrible thing to them while they was on this earth. They laughed, they mocked him, just like how they mocked the Mashiach when he was on the cross. Ha 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 ha, he. They were laughing. They was he cackling and giggling. They thought it was funny. They was having their season of celebration, man. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken from misery. They say, look at what we did to these guys. They went out, they lived a horrible life here. Look at what we did to them. And they're going out from us to be utter destruction, man. They went out of this world horrible, just like Eleazar did, just like the men before that died, you know, and after, you know. But now they in peace, man. They in the hands of the Most High. For though they be punished in the sight of men, that's what Eleazar was saying. Look, man, I'm gonna endure this punishment from man, because I fear the Almighty. Yet their hope is full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for God proved them and found them worthy for himself. For as gold in the furnace hath he tried, and received them as burnt offering. And in their time of visitation they shall shine to and fro, like sparks among the stubble, man. You know, and I don't think verse 8 is there, but you know, verse 8 says, you know, and they shall have dominion over the earth and judge the nations. That's what's coming to them for not selling out, man. Oh man, you know, through faith, man. You know, it was through them having faith and not putting their trust in man. You know, not selling out, you know, and taking satanic oaths, man. You know, look what Eleazar said. You know what I mean? He said, look, man, I don't want them to think that I converted over to an alien religion, man. You know, meaning, look, he sold out. You know, he left a good report for the young. You know what I mean? Because when everybody else sees somebody that as high, you know, and respectable as him sell out, look, they gonna do it. They gonna fall like, well, damn, if Eleazar sold out, damn, I might as well too. Nah, he said, nah, I'm already 90 years of age. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sell out just to live a little bit longer, then I'm gonna die and disgrace myself. You know? You mean, this is why you gotta remember the acts of your forefathers, man. This is what they did. Judas Maccabeus, you know, Simon, Jonathan, all these guys, man, stood boldly, man. You know, so it's like they said, man, they don't, and it showed you right there. You know what I mean? With Eleazar, first they're buddy with you, they're trying to be friendly with you. When they see you not gonna sell out, you see the wickedness that they're gonna do. They do to you. They was never your friend to begin with, man. They just wanted you to sell out, man. You know? You know, when you niggas that sold out your loved ones, you know, you gave them exactly what they wanted. It was never your friend to begin with, man. You know? that's what Judas did. You see, he went back and tried to give him back the coins. You know? They didn't take that money back. They said the deed is done, man. You know, what Judas says, he said, damn, I betrayed the innocent blood, man. For what? Money, man. Coins, you know. But only those that you know, only those that stood strong, man, and have their reports told, man. They got a good report, you know. That's right. You know, not the ones that follow the crowd, man. Those are the ones that's written in the books. You know, and that's, you know, and they don't worry about how like, you know, oh, they got this army and they got the support of this group and they got the support of that group, and it may seem like they undefeated, man, and they have so many people on their side. But what did Elisha said, man? He said, they that be with us are more than they that be with them. You know, when he was showing them the heavenly hosts that was surrounding them, you know, the armies that was surrounding them at 24/7. You know, it was a whole legion of armies, man. Like the Mashiach said. He said the Mashiach said that too. He said, look, if I want to send a legion of angels coming out here to fight on my behalf, I could summon them if I want to. And you seen that with Elisha, man. He said, look, man, I mean, don't fear nothing, because the host and the army that's backing us is more than what's with them. And even though they have all these resources, they have all these, you know, these things, and you seem like you up against an insurmountable number and you can't beat them. He said, don't worry, because they that be with us is more than they that be with them. You know, you got to remember what's in the scriptures, man. You know, remember what the Mashiach said, man. You just got to have faith, man. You know. Lord willing, man, you know, our names are recorded in these, you know, in the future to come, man. Because we cut from those same cloth that, you know, those men and women came before us, man. You know, 7,000 that didn't bow down to Baal, that didn't bow down to this beast system, man. They don't care, you know. But you guys that sold out, they use you guys for a moment. You mean, like just like how they use this guy, and you see what his end was, man. That sold out. You see the end of these guys that was slimy. Oh man. Only those that stood bold, man, are recorded. You know, that's it, man. All praises to the Most High. Hopefully this was edifying.